close-up look at all your Concho Valley High School football. This is Inside the Game. Sponsored by Mitchell Automotive Group.
Good evening, Concho Valley, and come on inside outside of the rain. I'm Griff McClellan. Welcome to Inside the Game, where we take you inside the games here in the Concho Valley. The next 15 minutes, we'll have a full recap of all highlights and scores from around the Concho Valley. Starting with Central, we caught up with head coach Mark Smith this week, who shares thoughts on his team's maturity and growth this season. Despite Central's slim playoff chances, the Bobcats' winning mentality has not changed. And it looks like we are experiencing some technical difficulties. We do apologize for that. As of now, we will send it out to Brian, who is live in studio, for a little update on some playoff clinching scenarios throughout the Concho Valley and tonight's weather. Brian?
Thank you, Griff, and unfortunately we're not in our regular situation where I'm able to be out live at Central. But here's the best part of this. You guys are probably wondering what's going to happen with these playoff scenarios. We're in week 10 of the district playoffs right now. So what happens to my team if they didn't get to play tonight? Well, we're going to start from the top with the District 3-2A Division 1. Cristoval was able to pull off a win, and therefore, because Forsan lost, Cristoval and Forsan are tied in second place, going atop that district into next week. And that's one of the big things coming up, is we have 4 teams looking to fill 3 spots potentially in that one. And then we're going to take this over to the 8-1 Division A1, where we had 2 matchups not able to happen tonight because of the weather delay. Erie and County in the Water Valley game was suspended. Robert Lee and Very Best was also suspended. If Robert Lee and Very Best were to face in a potential 3-way tie for second with 1 spot to fill, if Robert Lee wins, Robert Lee and Very Best may take the district. And that's one of the things that we're keeping a look at right now as the weather continues. We had ourselves some issues with weather and everything going on, so we're going to go ahead and continue to look at some of those district matchups. And one of the games we're looking at also, Central. They did have a canceled game as of tonight. It was able to play the first quarter where we had a rain delay and a lightning shut down the game. It was 7-0 at the time they called it, with 4 minutes to go in the first quarter, and that's pretty much where we were at. We had a few other games due to hail, rain, and other weather kind of take us out of game. Again, we have week 10 district play. It's a very crucial time, and we're looking at week 11 district play next week for some of those matchups. On the Concho Valley website, we're going to have some of those remake games and schedules for you guys going forward in the next 24 to 48 hours. We'll have all of that extra updated info at that time. I'm Brian Cunningham. We're live in studio. We're going to send it back over to Griff for Inside the Game.
This live shot is sponsored by AFCO Steel.
Thank you, Brian, for that insight. Yes, Brian said it all pretty much. Central was down 7-0 early, and the game was called as of tonight. A rescheduled date has yet to be determined, but anyway, as of tonight, here are the highlights we know. Central, coming into this game, held the overall series record against Odessa High at 42-39-1, when their 83rd all-time meeting. This marked their 5th consecutive year meeting. On the first down play, the team Central had an opening drive, outside run, play going nowhere. Third down play, though, scramble right for quarterback Squeaky Christian English. The play goes nowhere, leading to a Central punt. And then on Odessa's first possession, on a quarterback scramble left and then to his right, a completed pass for a first down. And then Odessa steps up, throws right, another completion to extend the drive. The ball lands inside the 3 after a pretty epic move by the receiver, and then an inside handoff, touchdown Odessa, leading 7-0 as previously mentioned, with 4 minutes to go in the first before, as Brian mentioned, a weather delay at 7:30 p.m. Still delayed, still 7-0. And again, we do apologize for the technical difficulties. We are working on it as the weather comes in. And up next, Lakeview had its game Thursday night, hosting the Big Spring Steers. In a Halloween thriller, both teams looked for their first district win. Big Springs held the overall series in this one, coming in at 22-9, They've met every year since 2018. Pick things up in the first quarter. Chiefs quarterback Chris Alviso takes a snap, rolls to his left and fires into the end zone, finding his receiver, Braylon White, for the touchdown. 7-0 Chiefs. Second quarter now, 11:08 to go. Adrian Yanez and the Steers respond. Kayan Valenzuela hauls it in over the middle. Tie ball game, 7 apiece. Just 9 seconds later, Big Spring gets the ball back as Alviso gets swarmed and has nowhere to go. RJ Gomez jars the ball loose and the Steers recover. And Big Spring makes the Chiefs pay. Capitalizing on the ensuing drive, Yanez finding Jacoby Lozano on his left for the score, 14-7 Steers. Ensuing kickoff now, Steers kicker Jeremy Minter trying to catch the Chiefs off guard with an onside kick attempt, but it's easily recovered by Lakeview. Following drive, Alviso would hit Daniel Munoz for a nice gain. Chiefs were trying to add some excitement before the end of the first half, but the drive comes up empty. Now, to the last play of the first half, Yanez just heaved it up downfield on a Hail Mary-like play, and it got intercepted by Francisco Ramirez. He was able to find some green grass for about 20 yards, but he came up well short of the end zone. The Steers went ahead of that game 14-7 at halftime, but never looked back, taking control en route to a 28-21 road win. The Chiefs now fall to 0-2 in district. And TLCA San Angelo took on Comanche Friday night, marking the first ever meeting between the two teams. Comanche came into tonight sitting third in District 3-3A Division I, and TLCA's goal coming in was just to at least make this game somewhat close after being outscored a whopping 536-20 this season. Tonight, though, TLCA has a little positivity to go off tonight, scoring a touchdown for the first time in 4 weeks, ultimately falling short 72-6. Grape Creek and Merkel meeting for the first time since 2019. Merkel held the overall series record at 14-0 before tonight's game. More importantly, they were seeking their first win of the season. Tonight, Grape Creek held a 14-0 lead. Merkel cut the deficit to 2, but fell short as the Eagles win 14-12. Brady and Toller, another first ever meeting between squads. This one carried some playoff implications with it, with first place in the District 5-A Division II standings on the line. Brady has had a remarkable turnaround after last season's dismal 3-8 finish, but unfortunately tonight was not the ideal result they were looking for. 42-21 Toller at the last check. Coming up next inside the game, we continue our Concho Valley Friday night highlights. So don't go anywhere. Class 2A is on deck. Stick around. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone, to Inside the Game. As promised, we now dive into Class 2A, starting with the Cristobal Cougars and Sonora Broncos battling it out for their playoff lives on the line. This series came in tied at 2-2 all time, the 5th consecutive year meeting. The Broncos and Cougars come out for the coin flip early on. First quarter action, Cougars drew first blood in this one on a long touchdown run by Manuel Rojas, 7-0 Cristobal. Sonora then got within 7-6 as Aaron Segura hands it off to Asia Gomez, and he barrels it into the end zone. But the Cougars move ahead 14-6 as Ethan Bush outruns the Broncos defense for a long touchdown. Sonora's Aaron Segura hands it off to Justin Gonzalez, who gets wrapped up. Cristobal's Ethan Bush again sacks on the defensive side now. Sonora's quarterback, giving them a little momentum going forward. And then again, Cougars quarterback Stanton McLaughlin fires a pass to Bush, who gets tackled. Cristobal went on to win a big game tonight, 20-13. Facing next week, Cristobal has to win out to make the playoffs. And sticking in District 3-2A Division I, this one is certainly coming down to the wire. The Ozona Lions now look to extend their 2-game win streak going into Week 10. But before that, we caught up with head coach Jared Taylor on his team's tough schedule going forard and what's at stake. He told us their goal is to definitely win out.
To win out, win these next 2 games. I mean, and that's always the goal anyways. But, you know, when you look at the playoff situation, the district that we play first round is pretty tough. I mean, it's got some top teams in it with Stanford and Hawley and Cisco. And so the biggest thing is, you know, we want to win out, you know, kind of go in as that second seed if Big Lake wins out as well.
This is all correct. Yeah. Ozona held the all-time overall series record coming into this one over Forson at 10-8. This also marks the 3rd consecutive year meeting each other. Now, as mentioned, District 3-2A Division I is certainly coming down to the wire, but this game was a rout. Ozona winds up dominating by a final score of 50-28 at home, their 3rd straight district win. First place, Mason hosting last place, Johnson City. The Punchers held the overall series record in this one, 19-1. Make that 20-1 now. This being the 11th consecutive year meeting between the foes. Mason continues its pursuit of a whopping 14th straight district title, and tonight they took one step closer to that, crushing Johnson City 63-17 final. And El Dorado traveling to Wink, the 5th consecutive year these teams are meeting. First quarter, there was an issue with the snap, as we get to the highlights in just a second, leading to a blocked punt by Wink's Kobe Valenzuela. It's scooped up by Ethan Cahill, who makes a mad dash over the goal line for Wink's first score on the board, 7-0 Wildcats. Next, Wildcats quarterback Lane Lusby fires off a pass to Timothy Montoya, who gets into the end zone for another touchdown here as he tiptoes his way in, making it 14-0 for Wink. Second quarter, here we have a huge throw from the Eagles quarterback Johnny Ray Adem, and what a fantastic catch right here. Oh my goodness, on his back, Isaac Vasquez. He looks pretty pleased with himself after that one. Another throw from Adame, but it's clipped midair and flies into the hands of Wink's own Cahill for an interception, ending that Eagles drive. Now look at him go. Wildcats go into halftime with 35-0 on the board. Final score tonight, Wildcats dominate 55-0 all over the Eagles. Sterling City hitting the road at McCamey. This young series tied at 1 apiece all time coming in. Tonight being the third consecutive year these squads have faced each other. Sterling City needed a win badly to stay in potential playoff position, and they get a huge win tonight, delivering with a close, hard-fought 20-14 win on the road. Next, Miles traveling to Winters. The Blizzards held the overall record in this one all-time at 7-3, also the third consecutive meeting between these two. Miles fresh off back-to-back district wins. Winters coming in 0-3, looking for their first district win. But tonight, it was all Miles Bulldogs. After a turbulent road stretch for about a month, just a few weeks ago, the Bulldogs are back in full force with a commanding 55-0 road win. Now, the first ever meeting between La Prairie and Junction. We do apologize for a little technical issue there on the graphic. The final score is 55-0. The Eagles came in winners of 4 straight in district, looking to move a step closer to potentially sweeping its district. And tonight, they took that next step, cruising to, again, a 55-0 win. Impressive, moving to 5-0 in district. Coming up next on Inside the Game, we continue our Concho Valley Friday night highlights. And don't go anywhere. Class 1A is on deck. Stick around. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone, to Inside the Game. As promised, Class 1A, also known as 6-man, is up now, starting with Water Valley, a team that controls its own destiny. Now, the Wildcats held the overall series record at 36-14 coming to this one, meeting in 2020 and 2021, but previously not since 2001. Tonight, this one was in a weather delay, and it has been officially postponed. A rescheduled time has yet to be determined. We'll have more information on that ASAP. A Water Valley win moves the Wildcats one step closer to a district title. And Robert Lee holds the overall series record at 16-1 coming to this one, the 7th consecutive year meeting their best. Robert Lee leads 8-0 in the first after Denver Odell pitches it to Brenner Sherwood, and he runs for a long touchdown. Later in the first, Verabest pulls even at 8-8 on a touchdown run by Bryce Martin as he shakes off a defender near the goal line, going in for the touchdown. Robert Lee's Brenner connects with Levi Bailey, and he hits Pater in the right corner of the end zone, making it 16-8 Steers. Now, Bryce Martin again carries for the Falcons, but the Steers D bottles him up still in the first. Verabest ties it at 16-all after Lorenzo Height pitches it to Martin, who connects with Peyton Larson for a score. This one currently suspended due to weather, tied at 24 at time of suspension. Eden hosting Nueces Canyon, series tied at 2-2 all time. Hadn't met since 2017, though, starting in the second quarter, already 20-0 Eden. And they didn't stop there. Garrett Cogbill takes it all the way to the end zone, 28-0 Bulldogs. A few moments later, running back Nate Barber runs down the sideline and starts into the end zone. 34-0 now, Eden pouring it on. Eden also dominating on defense. As we saw a second ago, Jared Fernandez jars the ball loose from Nueces Canyon quarterback Taylor Roller, picked up by Cohen Holschler for another Dogs touchdown, 40-0. And Jaden Mauricio taking the handoff next, and yet another touchdown. The icing on the cake for this one, 46-0 Eden. They get the job done in senior night by Mercy Rule, shutting out Nueces Canyon 46-0 in dominant fashion. Finally, Bront versus Trent. The Longhorns held the overall series record at 14-7 coming into this one, the third consecutive year meeting. But prior to that, not since 1969. These teams in the middle of the pack in District 6-1A Division II, looking to keep their slim playoff hopes alive. Final score, 65-28 Longhorns. Now that's going to do it for tonight's show. Unfortunately, we've had a lot of technical difficulties, so thank you so much for sticking with us. As always, we'll be back next week for Week 11. We have a lot to cover next week, so again, don't go anywhere. We'll be back next week. Stick around. Welcome back to Inside the Game, but before we continue, let's review one of the questions from our Week 10 Dr. Pepper Trivia Challenge. And again, we do apologize. We are back for one more segment. Sorry about that confusion. This week's question, how many playoff appearances does Robert Lee have in its school history? Is it A, 5, B, 16, C, 24, or D, 33? Again, you can visit our website, ConchoValleyHomepage.com, to submit your answer for a chance to win a $20 Walmart gift card. The winner, as usual, will be announced on Sunday night. Now let's take a look at some Week 10 headlines. Lakeview, as mentioned earlier on the show, falling short on Halloween night, 28-21, one where they made it close and interesting at the end, but just coming up short now, 2-7 overall and 0-2 in district, but still qualifying for the playoffs in a 4-team district. Central, still yet to be determined. We don't know when that game will resume, but they were down 7-0. We'll see. Next week, they close out their regular season with slim playoff hopes still alive. Grape Creek holding on for a close, low score and 14-12 win tonight, keeping their hopes alive. And Mason, another dominant win at home, 63-17. Now let's look ahead to some Week 11 games. Central taking on Friendship on the road to close their regular season. Their final was tonight at home. Lakeview traveling to Andrews to close district play as well, looking for their first win, still playoff bound. Stanton versus Wall. Wall returning from its bye week, nearly wrapping up that district. We'll see how they clinch it next week. And Brady hosting Clifton, looking for a rebound win effort tonight. And then finally, an all Concho Valley matchup. Could be the matchup of the week, in my opinion. Ozona versus Cristobal in an epic district clash with playoff hopes on the line. And that's officially a wrap for this week's Inside the Game. Again, sorry for the confusion. Remember that you can check out all our content on Concho Valley homepage. You can also follow us on Twitter at KSAN.
Inside the Game is sponsored by Mitchell Automotive Group.